All right, let's see a bail Harris out of this. We haven't really talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's my role, I guess.
We haven't discussed this a great deal, but it's important to review. Harris promoted the Minnesota Freedom Fund. That was the bail, the collection of money from celebrities to bail out protesters in Minneapolis during the George Floyd week. We're all in agreement that she promoted that. Are we in agreement there?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Evidence exists.
They used donor contributions to bail out violent criminals in a May 2020 blog post. Harris encouraged her readers to help the protesters on the front lines of the riots following the Floyd weekend by donating to the Minnesota Freedom Fund in her blog post. The Minnesota Freedom Fund went on to bail out multiple convicted murderers and other violent criminals in the years following the riots, according to court records. Today, in solidarity with those protesting, I am asking for your help if you are able, Harris wrote in her 2020 blog post. Will you make a contribution to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, an organization working on the ground in Minnesota to post bail for arrested protesters? And she was referring to the people who burned down or otherwise damaged more than 1,500 locations in the Twin Cities, caused an estimated $550 million in damages. That's according to the Star Tribune. 2 people died, and law enforcement arrested 604 people between May 27 and June 2. Kamala Harris raised money for rioters while Minneapolis burned. Caroline Leavitt, a spokeswoman for the Trump campaign, told the Washington Examiner. Her fundraising efforts helped free murderers and rapists. She should be ashamed and apologizing for this. Among those they bailed out was Sean Michael Tillman, who was sentenced to life in prison just in March after shooting and killing a man at a rail station in St. Paul in 2022. George Howard, once freed by the Harris-backed bail fund, pled guilty in 2023 to killing a man in a 2021 road rage incident in Minneapolis. Both men were freed after Harris promoted the bail fund, but not for crimes related to the riots. Thomas Mosley, one rioter freed by the Freedom Fund, was later arrested for possession of multiple drugs while also possessing a firearm. I don't know. Do I need to go on? I don't want to. The point is that where does she stand on this today, Kenny?
Well, today I don't know, but I can provide you with 2 explanations. You can pick the one you like. And I'm really starting. I do not like Hanlon because it allows the guilty to go scot-free in our minds.
I wouldn't even apply Hanlon to this.
Well, number one is Kamala Harris is not burdened by deep thought. So she actually had no idea how stupid it was at the time to promote that.
Not an excuse. That's not an excuse. As long as you're going to play this game, I'll have to contest you. Stupidity is not an excuse.
Okay, then I'm going to say Kamala Harris is a brilliant criminal mastermind posing as a complete imbecile. She knew exactly what she's doing, and she's using our friend Hanlon to get off scot-free. Yeah? No?
Okay.
Maybe?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I've coined a new name for that ticket, by the way.
What is it?
I addressed it to you earlier today.
Yeah.
I like to call it the drunk and the Dodger.
Yesterday, did I see her?
You want to hear from her?
I happen to know a little bit about drunkenness. And I got news.
Okay, then.
Not necessarily in that order.
She was hammered here. Well, if you're going to play the thing I think you are, she was half in the bag.
Yeah, half a box gone.
President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And he's going to speak in a minute, but there's a lot of love in this room for our president.
Jesus Christ, she's half in the bag.
She sounds like basically every guest I've had on the State Fair doing the beer show for the better part of 8 years.
It's amazing.
You can't even talk, can you? She should have went. That's what I learned.
Is that Joe Biden, Kamala? She's I don't know her alcohol history. Is she known to
It's
be?
been pointed out a time or two over the past that she may or may not have been under the influence on stage.
Well, she is there. I don't care what anybody says.
It's pretty obvious that.
Do you think she does what our best friend from Iowa used to do? Take the wine bladder out of the box, put it right in your purse
With a big
you can
straw.
walk around slurping on it.
That is play that again.
All right.
Our extraordinary President Joe Biden. And he's going to speak in a minute, but there's a lot of love in this room for our president.
Oh, my word. How are they going to keep this woman sober to get her through a campaign?
Is that part of the reason why they've kept her in hiding?
I don't know. I don't know, but that those words have the hallmark of being affected by extracurricular substances. How's that?
Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
Well put.
Hey,
Zaza.
I love this room. Yeah. Yeah,
Where
baby.
my twin nephews one would look at the other and say, we're driving her home.
Yeah, she needs a ride.
It's only 2 miles, but we're driving.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Land of Goshen. That is that's 3 sheets to the wind right there.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying. There was another
Happy.
clip.
She must be
Very
a day
happy.
drinker.
Yeah.
Well,
Get her started early.
Yeah. Well, she can't be bleep faced at 3 p.m. if she don't start early.
Right.
Do you think she rallies? Like when I was in the midst of it, I would go down for a nap at about 2-3 o'clock, and then get back up at around 8 o'clock and
Puke and
do it
rally?
all over again.
Well,
Yeah.
I once bought a car under strange circumstances, and then rallied and didn't buy the car.
turns out I can't drive a
I
bus.
couldn't drive that bus. Yeah.
Yeah. I bought a sled out in Oregon.
Yeah. Well, I talked to people last night who are committed Harris voters, and I finally got it out of them that they understand they don't know a thing about Harris, but it's more important to them to vote against Trump. And I can't blame them. I understand completely. But I tried to say, do you understand that yesterday was day 25? Do you understand that for 25 days since she was appointed to run for president, without any say from you Democratic voters, she was just appointed by the elite in Washington. She's going to, which I think they've made a mistake, by the way, using her. Do you realize she has not uttered a serious word of policy? We have no idea, and they don't care. And in this case, they don't care because they would vote for a tree before they voted for Trump.
I seem to be working for the Harris Walz campaign today. I just came up with a phrase for those voters, Joe.
Yeah.
What we don't know about Harris is better than what we do know about Trump.
I'm sure that's exactly the way they feel.
Yep.
And I get it. I understand. I think the country.
Well, that's an interesting point, Kenny, because some of that same rhetoric, for vastly different reasons, was applied to the last governor's race in the state, meaning that why is it okay that the Democratic candidate it's okay if they're flawed? But we have to come up with the perfect candidate on the Republican side that can't have any flaws whatsoever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Democrats have perfected this art. They
get the longer leash, don't they?
Yeah, they've worked so hard and so long to for their success that they're cut more slack, and they have the media in their pocket too.
I mean, Ilhan just destroyed Don Samuels.
Yep, who's a good human being,
right?
Who lives in North Minneapolis, puts his money where his mouth is, raised his children in North Minneapolis, has remained a fixture in the North Minneapolis neighborhoods. And this
Person.
this person flies in and grits her teeth to stand being here for 48 hours and then can't wait to get back to Washington. and she destroyed Don Samuels. It's truly a sad situation that this once fantastic country, where you had at least an idea that you knew what was going on. A, we don't know what's going on. And B, we have been left with the two worst presidential candidates in American history.
Worse than before Biden dropped out?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
Harris is much worse than Biden.
Even though she has a greater chance to win than Biden did before he dropped out.
Right.
You could at least say Biden was skilled and had a long history as an American politician, so he knew how things worked.
Well, he had a long history of absolute mediocrity.
Yeah, it's true, but he was involved in the process.
Right. Yeah. Harris is
and understood the process and how to get things done.
Yeah.
Why are we big upping Biden? Let's move right along.
Come on.
John, what have
apparently
you done to
Nancy Pelosi had the fiery phone call with Biden.
Okay.
And now Dr. Jill, she got that with an Ovaltine
What's
wrapper.
up, Doc?
Dr. Jill and Joe are very upset with Nancy Pelosi because they believe she engineered the coup. And I don't know if she did or not. It certainly wouldn't surprise me.
Why is she calling the shots? Old Nance.
Well, because she's an old machinery runner. She's part of the machine.
Machinery runner.
Yeah, she's a welder.